Now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Friday, October 3rd, 2025. And in the weather-related headlines across the state of Alaska, we're going to see a series of North Pacific Bering Sea lows and fronts work their way from west-southwest to east-northeast across the state, up into the Gulf at times, and this will be now through next weekend, at least leading up through mid-month. We do have the potential for some high surf, maybe even a little minor coastal flooding along sections of the west coast this weekend. And there will be some periods of rain that make it up into the western interior, and then also spreading eastward along the Gulf, even into south central Alaska. So a wetter pattern will prevail. And just looking ahead here, again, through almost mid-month, above normal temperatures will be prevalent across much of the mainland, especially in the west, and it will be wetter than normal, especially in across the western portions of the mainland. And looking at a few of the FAA webcams on this Friday afternoon, Golovin there up on the south shore of the Seward Peninsula and Norton Sound, thickening cloud cover. You see the sun there coming through those cirrostratus clouds. Temperature 36 degrees. You're going to see increasing southeast to south winds. You're under a high surf advisory, so there's the potential for some beach erosion with that higher surf that'll be developing here later tonight, especially during the day on Saturday as a front pushes inland. Hooper Bay is under a coastal flood advisory. There is the potential for some minor coastal flooding there as we go through Saturday, as winds will be increasing from the southeast and south here tonight with that front pushing inland later Saturday. Overcast skies right now and 46 degrees. Now in the interior around Isabel Pass in the Alaska Range, there is a wind advisory in effect for Saturday morning into Sunday afternoon. South winds will be increasing there through Isabel Pass and could gust as high as 50 to near 60 miles an hour, especially as we get into Saturday evening and night into Sunday morning. Right now, though, mostly cloudy to partly sunny, 41 degrees, and you can see a little bit of snow that's left, which fell there just a couple of days ago. And then Klawock in the southern panhandle, one of the nicer weather locations to be at today. Partly sunny, 57 degrees. And in fact, those of you in the southern panhandle, Prince of Wales Island through Ketchikan, Metlakatla, those areas are going to enjoy a drier period of weather coming up here through mid-month, and maybe temperatures not quite above normal, but near normal temperatures with drier conditions. So looking at the hazardous weather map, we have just a few different advisories that are up. So here from the Bering Strait at Wales down through Nome, Golovin, Shaktoolik to Stebbins, there is a high surf advisory now through early Sunday morning. And then from Imanik down through Hooper Bay, there is a coastal flood advisory for the same time frame now through early Sunday morning. And as this front pushes inland, we're going to have some stronger southeast to south winds that will really impact here this area, this southern shoreline and western shoreline of the Seward Peninsula, and then down here along the lower Yukon coast. Could see some water levels maybe 2 to 4, 2 to 5 feet above the normal high tide line. And then as a result of that, that higher surf could cause some minor beach erosion. Inland here, there's the wind advisory for Saturday morning through Sunday afternoon for Isabel Pass there at Black Rapids, Donnelly, upper Richardson River there. Could see some wind gusts 45 to 55, even near 60 miles an hour. So looking at the rain potential the next few days, this includes today, so this will be Saturday into Sunday over the course of the weekend. More rain is going to be pushing inland, being drawn northward along this front. So areas of the western interior, Bettles, Ambler down through McGrath, and especially down along the Kuskokwim River Basin and just west of the Alaska Range, some areas could pick up 1.5 inches to over 2 inches of rainfall. And then as that moisture spreads along the Gulf Coast, eastern Kenai, Prince William Sound typically getting in on some of the heavier rain like around Whittier, Cordova. It's going to turn toward Yakutat and outside of Cross Sound. So that area will be the wettest along the Gulf Coast as we go through Saturday into Sunday. The southern panhandle, though, will tend to be a bit drier here, as most of that precipitation will be staying further north and west. So on the satellite imagery, we have And I don't know why that jumped like that, but we're going to go right to this one. This makes it easier. We still have high pressure ridge sitting down over the North Pacific into the Eastern Gulf and Panhandle. And that kind of extends further north, back up through northwest Canada. And at least it's going to hold the precipitation at bay here for Saturday and most of Sunday. Back to the west, so this is a low will deepen to around 970 millibars this Friday night into early Saturday morning, with this occluded front pushing up into the YK deltas and eventually Seward Peninsula. So winds will be southeast to south, some gale force winds or gust possible along and behind this front. Earlier today, we had storm warnings for the central Aleutians. As this system works its way north and east, we'll see mainly gale force winds along and ahead of the front. And then on Saturday, we have kind of a double frontal system. So we have the initial lead front pushing inland. There's going to be a surge of moisture along this front because it's a moist, mild flow of air coming up from the North Pacific. So rain will be increasing, especially Kodiak Island, Kenai Peninsula, Prince William Sound, even up around Cook Inlet. And temperatures south of this little mini warm front, Kodiak City could maybe be flirting with 60 degrees here on Saturday with breezy conditions and rain. To the west, the low sitting right around 970 millibars. We have a secondary front, more of a cold front trying to work its way eastward and inland. That demarks just a transition to cooler air. And then on Sunday, we find secondary low pressure trying to form around Bristol Bay, the northern half of the Alaska Peninsula. And as this frontal system continues eastward, that's going to allow the rain to spread along the northeastern Gulf Coast. But the southern panhandle, especially toward Ketchikan and Craig, will generally be drier thanks to this ridge of high pressure, the axis still sitting over that region. And then we're going to just see a parade of weaker lows working their way from west to east as we go into early next week. And occasionally maybe a little stronger impulse coming up out of the North Pacific into the Bering as we head through next week into next weekend. So an active weather pattern. So by Monday, we still have this low sitting over the northwestern Gulf and occluded front pushing in through the Panhandle. So that'll allow for more in the way of some rain and showers across the Panhandle by then. Areas of the interior, just some lingering rain, snow showers, areas of rain or snow. Nothing especially heavy, and then here comes the next frontal system that's going to try to push another surge of mild, moist air northeastward up into the Bering. So temperature-wise, chilly. We have readings in the teens, 17 up there, Dead Horse, as well as Anatuvik Pass, only 12 at Arctic Village. Below freezing there in the Yukon Flats, but Panhandle will generally see lows above 40. Generally lows near 40 degrees or just above that here for South Central. Colder in the Copper River Basin back to the west because we have the increasing wind, some rain, thicker cloud cover. 45 there along the YK deltas. And then temperatures could be holding up near 50 degrees from Dutch Harbor on up along the Alaska Peninsula through Chignik. And then on Saturday, we're looking at temperatures to flirt with maybe near 60 there at King Salmon, depending on the rain and how much wind you have coming in off the sea. Kodiak City, at least 56, 58. Out here through the southern Panhandle, you could see temperatures around 60 degrees again at Craig and Ketchikan. As we go further north, readings near or just below freezing here, especially along the Beaufort Sea coast, eastern Brooks Range. And then with this front pushing inland, it actually has some milder North Pacific air that's going to allow temperatures to get back up around or a little above 50 degrees up through the southwest interior west of the Alaska Range. Sunday morning, not as cold in the north, 28 degrees there at Anatuvik Pass, 20 at Arctic Village. And we have low temperatures staying generally above 40, lower 40s creeping up into the middle Yukon west of the Alaska Range. Temperatures generally in the 40s here through the Panhandle, though it could be near 50 for a low at Sitka, and low temperature right around or just above 50 there at Kodiak City. And temperatures on Sunday afternoon, there'll be rain falling along this area of the Gulf Coast with readings in the 50s, so kind of a relatively mild rain for early October. Could be 60 degrees again here, Prince of Wales Island. And then notice, though, we have temperatures moderating across much of the interior. Highs getting back up lower 50s there at Fairbanks, creeping upward toward Delta Junction. Even up along the Brooks Range, we see readings trying to get up near 40 degrees and temperatures in the 40s across the Seward Peninsula. It's because of the relatively modified, warmer North Pacific air making it inland. And looking at the temperature outlook prior to mid-month, October 9th through the 13th, taking us through next weekend. Above normal temperatures likely across the mainland, near slightly above normal for the Panhandle, but definitely the signature for above normal temperatures likely here in the mainland for approaching mid-October. But more importantly, it's the precipitation outlook, because I told you about this parade of low pressures coming up out of the North Pacific into the Bering with these wet, windy fronts. There's a high probability of above normal precipitation now. Middle Yukon Valley, lower Yukon too, surrounding Norton Sound, Kotzebue Sound, the Seward Peninsula, and the southern southwestern slopes here of the Brooks Range. Pretty high probability of above normal precipitation for October 9th through the 13th. This area of the Panhandle generally drier, especially the southern half of the Panhandle. You're going to enjoy a drier stretch of weather. So if you have some chores that need to get done before winter really sets in with wetter and or snowier weather, be good to take care of those projects then. I hope you all have a great weekend.